Okay, so I assume you're watching this because you're interested in making some sort of kinetic art or some sort of mechanical, electromechanical device using gears. And for example, this one. Okay, and this one is kind of cool. It's sort of a optical illusion thing. Although I wish I had put the bigger gear behind and the smaller gear in front, but that's easy to fix on my next iteration. If you look at it, you can see it's actually just two simple gears. Okay, lots of fancy cuts, but two simple gears, and they're driven down here by two more gears that is driven by this DC motor. So if I turn it on, you can see that I get this kind of cool effect, although the camera is making it look kind of funny. But you get the basic idea, and I can make it go fast, I can make it go slow. So how did I do it? It's really pretty easy. Okay, looks intimidating, but it isn't. So let me make myself small here, and let's jump over. So what did I actually make? I made this. Okay, and if we zoom in on this, you can see that it is these two gears. Okay, and I actually have them here because I cut them out. And of course I have a lot of fancy cuts in them to give it that sort of cool effect. And of course it has the bases and then the motor and drive gears. So one thing you need to know is I will always give you this. Like these motors, okay, they have this sort of sliced off or cut off circle drive. I have that patterned out and it works great. I'll give you this so you don't have to design or measure it. I'll give you these holes so you know where they mount on these motors. So that problem will be solved for you. So you won't have any issues with that. I'll also probably give you this base if you want it, but that's okay. So then it becomes making something. And it can literally be, this is where the imagination goes wild. You don't have to drive it from a small gear to a large gear. You can drive a large gear directly. You can do a chain of gears. You can do anything you want. You can have gears all behind some sort of a plate and have images that scroll around, you know, in each one. It's all up to you. Okay, but you need to know some basics about gears and how to do it. So let's get started on it. Let's again. Oh, and I should also mention you can do it in either software. Here it is in Onshape. Okay, and working with gears in Onshape is really pretty easy. The nice thing about Onshape is it does allow you to do a three-dimensional rendering, which is oftentimes pretty handy if you're having a hard time imagining how things mesh together. The disadvantage of Onshape, the usual issues, is that you can't do a lot of graphic spline work or whatever on this surface. It becomes more challenging. So, but if you want to make something that's purely mechanical, maybe Onshape's the way to go, and I'll show you both. But if you want to make something, you know, with some patterns and cool, you know, effects and whatever else you want onto it, maybe you want to use LibreCAD. I'm going to demonstrate it with LibreCAD. The basic syntax is the same, but I will show you how to do the basics in Onshape. So that being said, let's play around for just a moment. I have another video on gears, but we'll kind of give it a crash review here. So I'm going to turn off. I have only snaps that I have on right now is snap to grid, and I'm going to go to my plugins up here, and I'm going to do a gear plugin, and I'm going to throw my first gear. It doesn't really matter. I'll throw it right there, and I'm going to make it a 10-tooth gear. Now keep in mind the modulus. That's the size of the teeth. If you use 2mm teeth, that means the diameter of your gear is going to be 10 teeth times 2. It's going to be 20mm in diameter. It's going to be the functional diameter of the gear. And we'll start off with that. I'm just going to say okay. And I've got this gear right here. And you can see that if I measure the diameter, it's going to come up to be 20mm. Okay? And I think I'm going to go ahead and put a center point. I'm going to put on snaps to center like that, and I'm going to put a hole right here, and I'll make it 4mm. Oops, I did not. Well, that's okay. We'll make it 4mm. Okay, that's actually 8 millimeters in diameter, but that's all right. We're just doing a quick demonstration here. And now let's make a, well, actually that does bother me. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go to Properties, and I'm going to make that. I meant to make it a 4 millimeter, so I need a 2 millimeter radius. So let me change that to a radius of 2. Okay, there we go. That's more appropriate. So now I've got a 4 millimeter diameter hole. And let's just make another gear real quick, and we're going to stick the two together. So I'm going to do a gear plug-in. I'm going to turn off my center point snap. I'm going to throw it, I don't know, here. And I think I'll make it 40 teeth. So it's going to be an 80 diameter. And in fact, we can quickly check that to prove that that is the case. And sure enough, we've got an 80 millimeter in diameter gear. And I'm going to throw another center point right there. And I'm going to make it 2. So now I got 2 4 millimeter holes in my 2 gears. So we want these 2 gears to mesh. Okay? So the diameter is 80, which means the radius is 40. And this has a radius of 10. Okay? So we need our 2 gears, 10 plus 40. We need our 2 gears 50 millimeters apart. So I'm actually going to, I can drag these in. I can link diameter, but I want to play. I just want to put it someplace around here, and I just want it to fit. So I'm actually going to put a center point circle in here, and I'm going to make it 50 millimeters. All right, the radius 50. Okay, so now if I take this gear and I copy it, and I choose the center of it, and then I can choose this thing here, which puts it any place on the line, and you can see it sticks like a magnet. Okay, so I don't care. Let's put it, I don't know, let's throw it right here. Okay, and I'll delete the original like that. And then sometimes it doesn't matter. It doesn't look very good because it's not a perfect match, but that's easy to fix. Again, it doesn't matter functionally because when you put the machine together, but if it bothers you, you can go ahead now and you can choose, for example, let's put center point. Boom, and then I'm going to choose, I'll choose this. And what I want to do is I want this to essentially line up. Oops. I want this to line up with that. There we go. Let's get out there someplace. Something like that. And then I'll delete the original. And there you go. Okay? So now I've got my gears perfectly aligned. I've got everything figured out, and it's ready to build. So that being said, believe it or not, I think I'm going to start over. I just wanted to give you this sort of quick little tutorial, and I will actually build something with this software. So let's start over, okay? Because this was sort of an explanation. We're going to delete that. Because what I really should do, if I want to do this really nicely, I should do some layers. So I'm going to create a layer. I'm going to call this Gear 1. And I'm going to make Gear 1 cyan. Okay? And I think I will put Gear 1 as a 10-tooth gear. So I'm going to do my plugins. I'm going to do a gear plugin. And I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to make it 10 teeth. Okay, excellent. Now, let's drive another gear. Okay? Now keep in mind, what I'm going to do is sort of reproduce this thing. Where'd it go? I'm going to kind of reproduce this thing real quickly. And the point here is that, remember, these 2 gears spin in opposite directions. So if you have gears spinning in opposite directions, you need to make sure that if two gears mesh, right, if this one's spinning clockwise, that's going to drive this gear counterclockwise. So if this one's spinning counterclockwise and I want this one to spin clockwise, I need to add another gear. So if this one's going counterclockwise, I mean, if this one's going clockwise, that one's going to go counterclockwise, and that one's going to go clockwise. Okay? So I need to have two gears. They don't have to be the same size, by the way. This is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and keep it simple and make two gears of the same size. So let's go back to my drawing, which is this one. And I'm going to make another gear of the same size. And I'm actually going to use the same plane. Fact is, what am I going to do? I'm just going to copy it. Heck, that makes it easy. Control, let's see. Control C. Boom. And Control V. I'm going to move it up here for the moment. Okay? So now I got two of these. Now, like I said, we need to make sure that this radius touches this radius. Alright? I guess in this case, because everything is easy, because everything is evenly spaced, I did everything in perfect measurements. I can just probably move it. I could just move it by using snaps, because this all has snaps in 1 millimeter increments. So we're going to go here. We're going to go move, and I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to take it down. I'm going to keep the original just in case I screw this up. Because what we need to do is we need to make sure, yes, see that? This radius touches this radius. Alright? In fact, I'll just leave it like that. Okay? So as long as these two radiuses intersect, we are good to go. This gear is driving this gear in a perfect mesh. Alright? And let's throw a couple of drives into it. Bores. I'm going to put a center point circle in here, and I'm going to make it 4 millimeters in diameter. So that means that I put a radius of 2. This one here, I'm going to throw a little circle in here, just something small, because I'm going to use it as a reference. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and move that spline into this. This is the one the motor is going to hook up into. So to do that in LibreCAD, what you got to do is you have to get both of them open in the same window, so to speak. So I'm going to open this one up. Right? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in here. Okay? So I'm going to take and select, I'm going to use radiuses, this is why I chose it, right? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go Control C. Wait, I'm going to select this, Control C. I'm going to snap to my radius, and I'm going to go over here, Control V, and I'm going to snap to my radius. Okay? And there you have it. Now I have the spline matched perfectly with the gear. We can get rid of this gear. And we have the motor mount already set to fill in. So the next step, I'm already at 14 minutes. I'm actually going to pause this, because this probably gets you started. And I'm going to shoot another video and link yet another gear to it. And we'll show you how to get that done. So I'll be right back.